Hey everyone, I wanted to talk about not waiting to feel motivated to get the job done and why this has played such a significant role in my life and many different things, from all the way from OCD recovery to hiking to my relationship to my work, anything that I wanted to change, something about myself that I thought I wasn't maybe performing correctly, or I was making mistakes over and over again. I wasn't learning from them, which humans do because we're all fallible, and humans are very good at kind of ignoring their blind spots, as Ray Dalio says, someone that Rob and I talk about a lot. So I just made a post in the Facebook group, and I want to read this post and then kind of throw in some other insights as I read it. And it's just something I think about a lot. I just did, every single month I go through goals, and then it was really bad in the past. I was really compulsive about my goals. So I didn't actually write any goals down for a really long time. I had goals, but I didn't write them down. And now I'm at a place, I'll take my watch off so it stops hitting the table. Now I'm at a place where I can be much less, well, there's really no compulsive activity with my goals at all. And it was funny, as I was going through my goals from my November goals, I was doing them on the phone in the one-to-one today. If you watch this, you know who you are. And I was like, oh, failed. I had like 6 goals. I failed 5 of them. So it is important to realize that we're not going to reach our goals. So again, the title of this is called Not Waiting to Feel Motivated to Get the Job Done. But before I go any further, please subscribe, hit that like button, comment down below. Let me know what you think about these type of videos where I'm kind of going through some posts and they're more philosophical and I go through a bunch of insights that I apply to my life. So let's just jump right into it. If there's one thing many successful people have in common, it's this. They don't wait for motivation and or inspiration to get the job done. Throughout history, there have been many men and women who have accomplished a wide variety of outstanding feats. Some of these feats were physical, some mental, and many a combination of both. But all of these have in common is this. They approach each day with consistency, persistence, and discipline. The reason why I never accomplished many of the things that I wanted to accomplish in my life, and again, I'm not saying I'm some 70-year-old wise man, we know that, I'm 33, was because I took an unrealistic approach about the realities of life. I'm going to quote him a couple times in this video. One of Ray Dalio's principles in his book, it's a book that Rob and I talk about, just a good adjunct book for life, not a book on the reading list. Those are the most important for OCD and anxiety recovery, but Principles by Ray Dalio is a great book. One of his number one top principles is facing the realities of life. And that is, you have OCD, you have a mental health disorder, you are not OCD, but you do have OCD. There's a high chance, more than good chance, that it's genetic. Even when people say my mom and my dad didn't have OCD, doesn't matter. It can be passed down the gene pool. Just because the generation closest to you didn't have it doesn't mean that 3-4 generations removed, they had it for 200 years. So just to give you a little background on genetics there. It's really, really important to cover that stuff because a lot of people, it's so easy to fall into the victim mentality. I did it all the time. And it's a very understandable mentality, but it's really problematic. It may sound cliche because it is, but if these people failed 1,000 times, they gave themselves 1,000 new lessons. I view my life and goals in a similar manner. I might not be achieving the first airborne flight or creating a new biomedical technology, but each day I am strive to learn, become a better problem solver, a stronger listener, but all of these include one thing with one common trait: showing up and feeling uncomfortable when I least likely to, or at least want to. A big thing in many of our lives that holds us back is, I read a great quote in a book I'm reading yesterday that said, it's so funny, nobody's a morning person. No one wakes up at 5 in the morning and goes, hooray! I could definitely attest to that. I wake up early many mornings. Yesterday I woke up at 4:40 in the morning. Fridays are usually an earlier day for me. And when my alarm went off at 4:40 in the morning, I certainly wasn't very, very ecstatic. But once I got up and started moving, I was very grateful that I was awake and could do the things I wanted to do. And to go on with that. Our lives will go by if we wait to feel better. This is absolutely understandable, but at the same time, very ill-advised. Your work career, your family, your life will not wait for you to feel better. Each morning when we wake up, we have a unique opportunity to face challenges and build. One of my favorite words are grit. This doesn't mean I don't relax, I do, but my personal idea of relaxation looks quite different to many. But I do strive to make the best of my life. I'm no longer looking for perfection, but but an overall sense of getting the job done. Another good example is this. After a long day, sometimes I don't feel like asking my wife how her day was. These are realities we all face. But every day I try to ask Erica how her day was. I didn't do this because it felt right. I did it because of the long-term benefits it can produce by creating a stronger relationship. OCD is not waiting for you. Your fears won't go away on their own, and your compulsions won't come down by luck. Many times, as Rob says, we need to white knuckle it and grab life by the reins. So that's that particular Facebook post. This post means a lot to me because it's hard to admit this. I always had pretty good discipline, but I was horrible at following through with that discipline, if that makes any sense. I had good discipline, but I didn't have good consistency long term. So my discipline was very short-lived. And I'm going to read you something I got. That's why I wanted to mention Ray Dalio a few times. This is his follow-along journal for his book Principles that I've been filling out. And I've had to be quite honest with myself when I was doing this. I messaged a good friend of mine and asked him when I was at the bookstore a couple hours ago on what he thought about my ratings of this. And he was like, I think that's pretty accurate. And I do appreciate him for that. So it says, to what extent are you aware of your blind spots? All the way from not at all aware to very aware. And I put pretty close to very aware, so 85%. And I wrote my blind spots down. Rushing my tasks, short-sighted, taking shortcuts, and overall patience. As many of you know, I can be someone that really can be pepped up, which can be a good thing. And as Ray Dalio also says, usually what he realizes is this. People's strongest qualities can also lie their biggest personal weaknesses in a character trait. And that for me was the ability to really be disciplined off the bat and be an assertive speaker and get things done. But on the counterbalance of that was not my ability to follow through on many things because I would get uncomfortable and kind of just fall off the hinges. So I think this was really important for me. I don't have too much more to say in this particular video, but I did want to just read this post for you and add some other insights in there and talk about why it was so important for me to show up and do the things that I say I wanted to do. Not because I wanted to build my self-esteem. We all know at OCD Recovery that self-esteem is a myth. There's no such thing as self-esteem that's healthy in the way that we imagine. It's why the third book on the reading list at OCDRecovery.com is called The Myth of Self-Esteem. It breaks down why self-esteem is one of the biggest, if not the number one, most notable, recognizable problem to emotional disturbance, because self-esteem is like filling up a bucket of water with no bottom. It constantly needs to be replenished. It's not unconditional self-life other acceptance. And just because one develops unconditional life acceptance does not mean they can't go all in on their goals and the things they want to achieve. It actually makes them a stronger character in the sense that they'll more than likely give themselves a better chance at achieving their goals, because when they fail, which they ultimately will fail many more times than they won't fail, lots of great examples of that, like batting averages in baseball and sports and everything. People who have achieved the most have also failed the most. But it gives you the ability to continue to go forward and forward and forward and forward. So I think it was really important for me to go over this post with you and show you the flaws that I had in my own thinking, which was very short-sighted discipline. My discipline was so good off the bat. And then, like most people, I would say from the average, what I see anecdotally, the average person, mine was better to the mid-range, and most people would already fall off by the mid-range. I never didn't go to the gym, but I would be compulsive in the way I went to the gym, and I would fall off in certain aspects and change a lot of things. So thank you so much for watching this video. Again, if you want to join our Facebook group, we have 17,500 members. And if you want to come to one of our coaching calls or webinar services, please email info@ocdrecovery.com. We'll get back to you in a timely fashion. Thank you so much. Always remember, motivation and inspiration are great feelings, but they're just that. They're feelings like happiness, and they're primarily fleeting feelings where persistence, discipline, and consistency don't come with those flashy feelings, but it's where a lot of the progress is made and a lot of the learning lessons can happen. So thank you so much, everyone. As always, have a great day.